Good afternoon. This is Joe Krutsinger with our weekly report. Today's a special report. It's a white paper on stops and targets. This is being recorded on May 25th, 2017. Stops and Targets was written originally by TradeStation in 2001. TradeStation has recently exercised their stated right to overwrite the code they originally wrote with new language. Now this will only affect BarNone of my strategies, as shapes, razor, and ribbons have the original stops and targets code embedded in those trading strategies. BarNone does not have stops and targets intentionally, and I'll explain why and how you can fix any problems you may have. The three terms I always like to include in my presentations are defined as thus. First of all, hypothetical, simulated. These mean the same. These are trades that have not been executed. They're generated by a strategy with the benefit of hindsight. Now, when you first develop a strategy, all the results are hypothetical and simulated. The next step I like to do is a blind walk forward, where I watch the simulated reports without changing the inputs and see how it walks forward on unseen data. Now, it'll give you a good idea how the math works. It won't tell you what slippage and real-time problems will happen, but it's a pretty good report. Of course, the best report is always a real track record. Actual trades have been filled in an exchange. Whenever I show you any of these three, I'll tell you which kind of report it is so you don't get that confused. You can get a copy of this PDF to peruse and be able to read the smaller print. This is basically the disclaimer showing about hypothetical reports. We aren't going to show any hypothetical reports today, but I did put it in there anyway. And again, if you want the PDF, just call me or email me. I'll give you the numbers at the end, and you'll be able to get a free copy of the PDF. Well, here's open code, and I don't show open code very often. It can be confusing, but this was copyrighted first in 2001 up to 2010, but they didn't really make any changes on it until just recently when they came out with TradeStation 9.5's newest update. They've changed the language. Here's the original language, and I highlighted where the changes will come in. Share or position, if you want to have it on a per contract basis, or if you're trading stocks, a per share basis, you would put the number 1 there. Normally when I put the 1 there for futures and the 2 there for stocks is the way I handle it. Also, exit on close, you put the word true if you want to get out when the signal is at the end of the day, or you put in false in this version. They've changed that in the newer version, and we'll look at that in a minute. And then, of course, the copyright notice is 2001 to 2010. That's how you can tell which one you have easily. It says if share position equals 1. In other words, if you've done the share position, then it's going to set the stop to the share, else it's going to set the stop to the position. That's the way you read that language. Now let's take a look at how they've changed it. Now, to me, this is harder to read, but I think they've done it so that people who write their own systems can understand their little tool tips. They have the language, and they have a tool tip how to use the particular system. So it's kind of nice to look at, and if you are going to copy this over, you might want to print out a copy of it first, of this one. But the differences are position base. They don't use a 1 or a 2. They use the word true or false. They go down to exit on close. Instead of putting true or false, now they've gone to a 0 or a 1. Enter a 0 to go ahead and stay in the trade, and a 1 would force the exit at the end of the day. Also, if you read the language, if position base then set stop position, the language assumes if position base equals true. In other words, they've dropped out the equals true now. And I have no idea why they did that. But that's the changes that they have made, and you can see the copyright notice doesn't have a year on it anymore, but that's what the new one says. Now, you can use this with BarNone. There's no problem. When I wrote the last recalibrations, I was using a new TradeStation 9.5, and so in the BarNone recalibration, it picked up this particular stops and targets because they overwrote it. I will write from now on in 9.1, and that'll make sure that we all have the same versions going forward. If you want to have an ELD of the original stops and targets, just call me or shoot me an email, and I'll send you one, and you just overwrite all. We'll go through that here in just a minute. Of course, the question comes to mind, well, Joe, if you wrapped the original stops and targets into Razor and into Razor with ribbons and into shapes, how come you didn't wrap it into BarNone? Well, I did that intentionally. I didn't think they were going to overwrite it because they haven't overwritten it for 17 years. But the reason I did it intentionally, because BarNone was also be able to use for stocks. And because it's used for stocks, I wanted to be able to use the percent exit pair in lieu of the dollar stops and targets. So by doing this, BarNone has none of this included. Then you can insert under it either the stops and targets, or you can insert the percent exit pair if you want to use a percentage target and a percentage stop on the position. And it's only for stocks, but there are a lot of guys out there who like to use ETFs and stocks, and so that's why I did it. But let me give you the solution. Now, if you're on a TradeStation 9.1, you don't have to do anything because you already still have the old code. If you've upgraded to the latest version of 9.5, then you'll have the new stops and targets. Best way to get rid of that, if you want to, is first pull it up and print it so you can see it if you like. And then you can call or email me. There's my phone number, 913-334-2202, or just shoot me an email, joecredit@gmail.com, and I will send you an ELD that you can import. And basically what you do is you go to, once you've got the ELD from me, you just download it onto your desktop, and then go File, Import, Export, Easy Language, pick that choice, and then pick the second thing, which is Import Easy Language ELD, and you'll find it there on your desktop, and then just overwrite all, and you'll have the old copy written over the new copy, and you'll be copacetic at that point. Now, it goes without saying that, of course, I'll be glad to do this for you. All you need to do is send me a TeamViewer code from TeamViewer 9, and I'll import the ELD and do the overwrite for you if you like. Also, I want to give you an update on the real-time disclaimer on Razor trading on the mini Dow that I have in my IRA account. And this is the disclaimer, so you want to read it, that you can lose money in futures, that's for sure, and use of stop orders, not guarantee limited loss. And again, read that at your leisure. Well, here's the real results since April 1st through today. It shows me on trading the mini Dow with Razor, and this is with the slip and the commission and everything that's real that's happened with recalibrations, etc. So it's made $2,567 on 24 trades. Average trades $106. Average winners $358. Average losers $106. You're making $3.38 for every dollar loss. Your annual rate of return is 300%. The percent of time in the market is 6.56%. The drawdown is 422. Profit factor is 2.86. This is basically 2 months, 1 month and 19 days and 7 hours. And that's pretty darn good. I'm real proud of that. If you're overwhelmed by systems and you see too many, I mean, I've got 4 systems on 6 markets, and so a lot of people say, wow, that's just too much for me. Just take a trial on Razor. Let me put it on your machine for free for 14 days. Just watch it on the YM and see if it's something you might like to do. It's what I've chosen to do, and I'm very happy with it. Here's the real-time equity curve. You can see it's flat, makes some money, flat, makes some money. That's what I like. You can see the inputs, the share of positions that we talked about for stops and targets. It's built into Razor, so you don't have to have any problems with that. It's on a 1-minute chart, so you don't have to do look inside bar testing. And I have down $5 commissions and $10 slippage, and that's what I have figured when I do it. But anyway, I'd be glad to put it on your machine and have you try it for yourself and see if it's something you might like. My main products are ideas, service, and support when you need it. All you need to do to get a hold of me, of course, is email me or phone me. You can go to etrackrecords.com, pull down the support tab, follow the instructions, and my professional copy of TeamViewer will come up, and you can use it. I'll get on there once and then the codes will go away, but it'll let me install anything, fix anything, whatever you need. There's never a charge for a client for me to do that. Well, the difference between my company and other developers, I think, is the degree of service. I don't know anyone else that will get on your machine and install the products, plus continually fix them if you've made a mistake. But that's what we really try to do. If you want the 2001 ELD version of Stops and Targets, just call me at 913-334-2202, or you can email me at joecrutt@gmail.com. If you'd like a free trial, send TeamViewer 9 codes for install of any of the strategies. Free for 14 days. There's no credit card required. There's no obligation to buy. Just try. Now, my website is etrackrecords.com, and I wish you good luck and great trading. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.